them up. Yeah. Well, I learned the origin of that, and it's minding your pints in court. When you go out to the pub, you need to mind your pints and quarts. So like I said, if you'd like to, put a couple up, be sure to mind them. I want to meet the people that drink in quarts. Yeah. All right. If you're ready, Laura, we'll call our meeting to order at 6:20 p.m. And we will note a quorum of Kathy, Jid, Zach, and myself, with no alternate tonight. Does anybody have any announcements or communications to or from the board? All right, well then we'll dive right into it. So we have one application tonight. It's our preliminary review. So this is, was it 88? 88? Is that right? Yeah. 88 Watermill Dam Road. Or 88 Mill Dam Road. Waterman is the applicant. And so we have Marta Waterman and Michael Wilcock. Mark is interested in building a accessory dwelling unit on her son's property. And he has said that's okay. So.
And it's DAM, right? There's no N on the end of dam.
Yep, that is correct.
Okay.
That other kind of dam.
Road.
I have to say, I thought I looked it up, and I was surprised that there was an end. I have to remember where I looked it up.
Really? Because it's
On
on
our-
our Google Maps.
On our maps, there's no N.
I'm sure you're paying attention.
Yeah, good job. Kathy
I'm
was.
just kidding.
So the application was referred to us for two non-conforming setbacks, side lot and a rear lot line. And my understanding is are we still looking at possibly reducing that to one variance request, or is that determined to not work?
Versus the two?
Yeah, I'd heard that there was a possibility the accessory dwelling would move on the lot, so it wouldn't require a second variance for the rear lot line.
In a perfect world, we would have both just to be safe, because we don't know exactly the perfect spot.
Okay.
But the one that's on the north face of the property is the one that's the most important.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the property and the way that the property kind of slopes down towards the wetlands, there's not a ton of space, even though they have like,
There we go. That's the spot to look. Yeah, so this,
yeah.
basically, this is kind of the edge of an embankment that slopes down this way.
Yeah, it's even like, you might, if I go,
Please.
it's even like that. And
It
like,
kind of cuts in and around.
yeah, like that's really like where it goes.
It's a real sliver. Is this Mill Dam here?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it gets narrower like the further back you go.
Yeah, so looks like the request is to continue. And I asked only because at one point there was suggested that maybe we're looking at moving it more this direction, which would eliminate this setback variance request. And we find that we look at both of them, and if you find a spot that requires it, as long as whatever the number is that we approve, you're
Right.
that distance or greater from the line, then
Yeah.
we're all satisfied. So,
While we have this up here, is there a well?
Yeah,
yes,
the well,
I have it noted.
the well is right there. And then we have that's a drilled well, and then we have a dug well that's like right about here.
You have that
Yeah,
on
and they
anything?
do have it noted here.
Okay.
So that's the request for us. With that, I'll take a motion to accept the application.
I will make such motion. Accept the application.
Kathy, second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Zach. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries by 4 ayes. And we need to classify it for seeker.
The wetland stuff is all on the other side of that
That line that you saw?
slope.
Yeah.
That's way off.
Yeah, there'd be no wetland impact of what they're doing. So I'll suggest that
Yeah, type
we'd
2.
be looking for a type 2.
And you had up the environmental assessment form.
Yeah, they went ahead and just did it, but it won't be needed.
Okay. I will
That motion?
I will make a motion to certify this as a seeker type 2.
Thank you, Zach.
I will second it.
Thank you, Kathy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries with 4 ayes. Flying right along. Would anybody like to make a motion to set a public hearing for our next meeting, which will be June 24th, 2025?
Make a motion?
Move it.
You
4 or
Jen?
5, which is it?
June 24, 25.
Oh,
Oh,
you meant
25.
June 24 or 25 of 2025.
All right, so moved by Jid, second by Zach. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries with 4 ayes. So, does anybody have any questions about this project?
What was the second motion about? Something too?
So SECRA, which is the State Environmental Quality Review Act, which for significant projects that would have an environmental impact, it would require an environmental impact assessment. And then depending upon what type it's classified determines how extensive that assessment is. Type 2 is, a type 2 project is expected to have such a small or non-impacted environment that there's no formal assessment required. So it wouldn't preclude us from saying, that's still a little close to a wetland, we have some concerns, or, but this type of project is only in a few circumstances would it be anything other than a type 2. Because it's a use by right for residential purposes. So.
Mhm.
I have a question. Do you have is this a kit or are you gonna, somebody build it?
We're just getting to that point right now. We could have it pre-built and dropped on the property, or it could be stick-built from the ground up. It would be on a slab, and it's gonna be a full basement. But,
Yeah, and the request was, I think, 625 square feet.
yeah.
So,
So it's really just the setbacks.
I think the largest that it would be 22 by 30, which is 660 square.
So what is it for? Is it,
No second story.
well, I thought it was, you said 625. She said the largest it would be is 600 and.
660.
Which they'd still be allowed. It's just
Okay.
625 is what was in the original application for that's 25 by 25, if I remember right. But it's,
Yeah, and as we were looking at how narrow it gets when you go back to where the house will be, we're like, okay, 20 by 30 would make more sense to get farther away
Would fit
from
better,
where it drops
yeah.
off the wetland.
And are you gonna have a road or driveway going back there?
Driveway kind of going along the north property line.
Okay.
yeah, actually, Laura, if you could just pull up the, it's like you knew what I was asking for. So they're looking to site it kind of in this back corner of the property.
Right.
There is an existing shed here. And I'm
And
trying to
that
remember
would
what
get
else.
moved. And there's a woodshed up in the upper left corner.
Yeah, right there.
So the driveway would come off, so there's parking area here. And the driveway would come off the north left.
That way, okay. Okay, so you use the existing curb cut here.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of come through.
Yeah.
And we do have a site plan that shows the well and the septic. I don't know if there's anything else we need. Does anybody want to volunteer to be our point person on this? Great. Thank you, Jid.
What is the point person?
Egidio will come and see you. He'll coordinate a time to come out on site with you and just do a quick walkthrough. A lot of times it helps us both provide answers to you and provide answers to the board, because it'll know, the board members are going to be interested in this little feature that's on the property that affects why you might, obviously that embankment's an obvious one. Maybe there's a few others. Like it's clearly soft and wet right there.
Are there any major trees around here anywhere?
There's a big maple that's gonna have to come down right there.
Okay,
And that'll be where we want the driveway again. But that's
Yeah.
probably it.
okay,
There's some other trees that would come down, but nothing big.
okay. Sometimes we allow, because there's a big tree you don't want to take down, so right here's the big tree, so you can't put it there type of thing.
Help
So that-
justify the request.
Right, it just helps.
So Jid will coordinate a time with you either now or a little later, and you don't have to be there. You're welcome to be there, whatever works. And in some cases, other board members will ask to attend. So you might see one or two or three of us, but yeah. But it's usually half an hour, just a quick walkthrough and a set of eyes. And that usually takes a lot of our questions away because one individual can kind of say, oh, I saw this and I saw this and I saw this. And they kind of they do the quick rundown of the key things. And then Jid will be the one that'll draft the determination of the board as a preliminary write-up on it. So. And all right, thank you, Jid. And
I do have one other question, maybe, which is that the rest of the property to the north, it's all one piece of property up to Bogart Lane.
yeah, it's a large
There are
part.
no houses on that, right?
There's that old, used to be a gravel pit that's
Yeah.
mitigated.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Laura. Can you show a little bit further up this way? I remember if it is.
Are there any houses around? Would you like to have
There's
distance?
a couple. There's one here.
Yeah, that's
And there's one
the,
Brownlee's properties right in here. I think this property is connected to whether it's separate parcels.
Yeah,
or the same with-
it should be that-
right in here.
that big farm there,
On the other side of
our
Bogart.
big, where the waterfall is.
So yeah, actually, that was the one piece, Kathy, that you flagged that I don't remember seeing in here. Let me flip through real quick.
Oh, like distance to nearest houses.
There. Yeah, so actually, there'd be one thing we would like to add to the record. You can use Google Earth, you can use the Ulster County Parcel Viewer, but just an aerial view, and then from your house to each of the adjacent neighbors, kind of, roughly 4 directions. Obviously, there's somebody like the nearest one's 2 miles this way, and there's a couple other a little closer here. Just kind of catch those, but it gives us a sense of how close are you to anybody else and the impact that, how significant it would be to the adjacent neighbors. So,
Okay.
and if you just have that to Laura before the next meeting, we'll add it to the record.
I thought I submitted it under.
If you did, I don't have it in a copy of the record, so.
Not to the nearest houses. No.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and it is as close as accurate as you can get with like Google Earth measurements, so you don't have to worry about it super accurate. Just
Yeah.
gives us a sense.
Right, so you want it to show the nearest houses.
Yeah, like if you took this kind of a view, or even a little more zoomed in, and you showed, distance from here to here to maybe, I don't think there's a house on this lot, or if it is, it's way over here.
It's over off Tongor, I think.
Yeah.
Like these few properties here, maybe these 4 or 5 kind of immediately around it. Because they would be the ones that, in your case, the impact would be pretty nominal, but in others, to be consistent with how we do a case, others, it does have an impact that we want to document, so. All right, so with that, you're all set, so we'll.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Who built the cool wood fence? It's nice. Good work.
I thought you were gonna say woodshed, and I was like, what?
I didn't understand what you said.
The wooden fence, the,
The
yeah,
cedar fence model.
Oh,
it's nice.
Was I? Thank you.
oh.
I've been admiring it for a while.
Yeah, it's cedar. It's actually from my friend's house in Accord. They have like a really big cedar tree, and he was cutting off the branches. I was helping him, and I was like, "Hey, these actually are pretty neat."
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you next month.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll just have to send you an email then.
Okay.
We'll schedule it. Thank you.
Meeting, Lee.
Yeah.
Well, perfect
Thank you.
timing.
It's like you guys are done.
Yeah. So we have two sets of minutes to approve, the March minutes and the April minutes. Take a motion to approve the March minutes.
I will make a motion to approve the March
Kathy,
minutes.
second.
Second, and I will make a motion to approve the April minutes also.
All right, we'll catch that in a second. All in favor of the
Oh, yeah.
approve the March minutes?
We had the aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Approved with 4 ayes. All right, Zach, I'm going to accept that motion now.
Okay.
And second,
I wasn't
second.
here, so I don't want to.
you did. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's 4 ayes. Motion carries. And would anybody like to make a motion that we go home?
I'll make a motion.
All right. Thank
I'll
you,
second
Jim.
it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
Bye, YouTube.
Do you want this? Since this is-
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.